Nerds. This is Pam coming to you from Stationery Nerd. Today we're going to talk about these two journals that I picked up at Target. The brand name on this is Green Inspired, and I haven't been able to find them anywhere else except for Target. So I'm going to give you a peek inside and give you the backstory on how I got my hands on them. Alright, let's get into it. I have been using journals to keep track of tasks and projects for the last 20 or 25 years. Not that we need to talk about how old I am. Let's just not go there. But I have basically been journaling well before the bullet journaling craze hit the internet and spread around the world. And in fact, I was using this journal as my most recent analog journal when somebody saw what I was doing and said, "Hey Pam, so I didn't know you were into bullet journaling." And I said, what's bullet journaling? And so apparently what I was doing was somewhere in the family, or kind of like bullet journaling. So this is what I call my first bullet journal, even though Pounce is back. Even though I didn't start out that way, and even though as you go through here it doesn't look anything like a bullet journal. I kind of don't even do the official kind of bullet journaling in my journals, so we'll talk about that another day. Today we're here to talk about these journals. So I have two of them. This is the one that was my project management and task management journal when I discovered that what I was doing was bullet journaling. And it's kind of more of a commonplace book because I have information about my tasks for each day, and then here's just some diagrams of my bathroom and my living room and my bedroom measurements, because I believe this is about the time when I was buying new flooring for the house. So all kinds of mixed things in this book, and I just continued working on it until I got pretty close to the end. When I got to about this part, I decided that I was ready to move on and ended up with going into a new journal. And then this one, I'm actually still using it. This is my learning journal, and I take this with me whenever I go to a conference or do a workshop or take an online class, or even when I'm reading a book that I want to take notes about. This is all kinds of notes from various places and classes that I've taken. And it's taken me a while to get through it, but I don't know, what am I about? I guess I'm about halfway through at this point. And I'll just keep using this for learning until I run out of pages, and then I'll pick a different one. But anyway, let's talk about the specs on these notebooks and get into the details. Alright, so I have the spec sheet. So this is the 4-page spreadsheet that you can pick up on the website. You can get that at www.stationarynerd.com/journals. And this is the Green Inspired. I picked it up at Target at $7.99. I kind of suspect that I must have gotten it on clearance or sale that was less than $7.99, but I can't be sure because I don't really remember when I bought it. But it's $7.99 at Target now. Who knows what it was when I bought it? Because this is one of those journals that were just on my shelf, and when I needed a new journal, I just went and grabbed the next available one. So this journal measures 8.25 by 5, so that is much narrower than an A5. Let's just compare that to the Leuchtturm 1917. And Pounce sees a ribbon. So the 1917 is about 3/4 of an inch wider than this, and it's a little bit tall. Nope, actually it's the same height. So just so you're aware of that, this is probably the same as the moleskin. Actually, let me see if I've got the moleskin right here. Well, I've got an old one. So here's my moleskin. This is the soft cover, but we have ribbon, guys. So it's even a tiny bit narrower, just like maybe a quarter of an inch narrower than the traditional moleskin size. Okay, so Pounce is just going to lay there and hold on to this book while we take a look in here. Okay, so let's take a look inside and see what the paper's like. All right, so I have only ever seen this journal as a lined journal, and actually let's skip the paper for now and go to the cover. This is a chipboard cover, so it's basically cardboard, like a heavy cardboard material. And on the spine, you can see that it is an exposed spine on this. I'm just going to zoom in here so you can see a little bit better rather than me holding it, wiggling it all around. So both of these have the exposed spine. And you can see this is how a signature is made. So the signatures on are actually exposed on the edge, and you can see that each signature is lined up and then it's sewn in increments along the spine, and then there's a coating of glue that goes over it. I believe at some point I had to fix this book. I think that it was coming apart at the seam, and I just stuck some glue down in there and held it tight. I think that was early on, but it is holding well now. So just know that sometimes books that are constructed like this can come apart, and it's usually just a matter of gluing it all back together. So you see that the color on the spine is actually part of the paper, so when you get into the inside, there is a stripe of that color on the inside as well. And so green and blue, and you can see that the paper is a bright white, and in fact I can compare that for you to a piece of just regular printer paper, and you can see that that's basically the same color. And then when we compare that paper to a Leuchtturm 1917, you can see how cream the Leuchtturm is, and then also the Scribbles That Matter. And you can compare the colors on these three books so that you can get an idea of how bright white that green inspired book is. I have only ever seen this book or this journal as a lined journal. I don't believe it comes in any other configuration. And as I said, it is in Target, and I've seen it in two places. One is in the journal aisle where you would expect, but then I've also seen it sometimes in the stationery aisle where you would get like the little boxes of thank you cards, and sometimes it's kind of stuck in there in the little gift section. So let's take a look at the pen test. And I think, yep, it's right here in the middle of the book, because I just did it on the next page. That I think this might have been actually an empty page that I had in the middle of the book, and I went back to it. So let's just take a look at the pens that I used. And you can see that I used the Sharpie liquid highlighters, and then a variety of black pens. So I've got fine liners, I've got gel pens, I've got a disposable fountain pen, and a super wet Bic rollerball. So lots of variety there. I will list all of those for you below in the description. Okay, and let's take a look at the results. It's kind of funny that I actually had to write in here that this is the results of a pen test, so don't write on this page. But look at this paper, you guys. This is awesome paper. So the two wet pens that we have, which is the Pilot Varsity fountain pen. That's the disposable fountain pen with the really thick nib. And then also the Bic 730R, which is a rollerball pen. Those two did not fare so well. There's ghosting and then also bleed through on those ones. Otherwise, all of the rest of them are perfect, and in fact, no ghosting. So, green inspired notebooks. Find them at Target. This is what the little logo looks like. You're looking for it. And they do have a website, which is green-inspired.com. However, I was not able to find these books there at the website. I've only been able to find them at Target, so take a look at your local store and see if you have them in your area too. And by the way, they come with all different sayings. I think there's about like 3 or 4 other ones that I've seen, so today is the day felt like a good one to plan the day, and then life is what you make of it seemed like a good quote for learning new stuff. So alright guys, that's all I've got for now. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you have tried these or even seen them at your store. And if they're in a different area than what I mentioned, leave that comment below to help others find it as well. So otherwise, I will see you guys later. Bye.